Sorry, everybody.
And as you notice that both our racers are playing on different versions of the game. It really doesn't matter too much what version you play on in this tournament. You're not going to lose that much time due to text. There's only, I think, one or two places in X1 and X2 that have longer text, or the text is about the same. But when you get to X3, you do want to play on Japanese if you can, just because.
Because of the amount of text in the text message, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. Yeah, the text is pretty long, and there's a lot of it.
That's very true on that one.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like Laseki is a little bit ahead at the moment in the intro. They're both damage boosting down to less than 3 HP for the ending of the stage. Ooh, Thunderface got into a little trouble. He's going to fall behind a little bit, but it's nothing to be worried about. This is going to be at least an hour and 10-minute race, I would say.
I'd say it depends on just, RNG on that one, but you're probably right.
So back to the format. Once they defeat all the 8 Mavericks in X1, they're going to have a 30-second waiting period to get set up for the second game. Due to different platforms that all of our racers are going to be playing on in this tournament, and different controller schemes, that gives everyone a fair shake at getting everything set up so they can play at their best. So once you see a runner finish the 8th Maverick in X1, you'll have a 30-second wait before they start X2. And unfortunately, yes, they are playing intro stages, much akin to the 46 Robo tournaments that you saw last year. They do start each game from the title screen. But unfortunately, there are no intro stages in the 46 Robos.
Oh, that's because it's classic Mega Man.
Yeah. So yes, they will have to play intro stages, but I mean, X2's intro is pretty short. This intro and X3's are the longest, but.
And Laseki looks like he's the first into Chili Penguin or Ice. I have no clue how it's pronounced in the Japanese version.
Aishi Pinguigo.
Yeah, I always wondered about that myself.
So, if you have played all of the X games on the Super Nintendo fairly regularly, it's pretty easy to figure out what route is, or what type of category fits each section of this 24 Mavs run. Because basically you're doing any percent in X1 because you're just killing the Mavericks. You don't care about anything else. X2, you will be getting the Buster upgrade, which we'll see here in about a half an hour or so. But that's it. And then taking out all the Mavericks there, which is basically the Shoryuken-less route that you may have seen a few players do in the past. And X3...
just about to get his dash, I might add.
Yep. And in X3, you have a choice of getting the boots, depending on your skill level. I mean, a lot of the higher level runners will be skipping the boots, but some people who aren't that confident in those bootless jumps will take the dash boots just for an easier play.
Yeah, like myself, I'll be getting that and probably a sub tank or two, and maybe a hard tank.
Yeah,
well.
Speaking of that, you may see some of the racers also pick up a couple safety items just to get through some of the harder fights in the opening stages. But, once they start the next game, they have to start from scratch.
So you're telling me it's basically low percent if you want, and if you're very good?
Yeah, X1, it's basically low percent / any percent. X2 is Shoryuken-less route, and X3 is any percent or low percent, depending if you want the boots or not. That's basically the fastest route through this run. So Laseki is starting off trying to hit some dash lemons and a follow-up with a charge shot. And Thunderface is doing the same. We're going to see who can get the early lead with Chill Penguin RNG. It looks like Laseki's still maintaining that lead, but he also has to be careful not to take another hit from Chill Penguin directly, because that is 6 HP, and I think that could kill him if he takes another hit. But it looks like he got through. Thunderface is just behind.
And looks like it's, what, a couple seconds, you'd say?
Maybe 5-6 seconds. Maybe a little more. We'll know when we see the teleport times. 5:26 teleport from Laseki. Thunderface looks like he's going to have a 5:33. Yep, 5:33. So, speaking of routing, there's a couple of routes that people will do in X1, just depending on their preference. Both of our players are going to Boomer Kuwanger, which is the optimal route. Laseki trying to get that ledge there. But you may see some Eagle second in X1 any. You'll most likely see Kuwanger second from most players. Now you see Laseki's waiting on these missiles to fire before he proceeds. They do deal quite a bit of damage, so he's just being careful. Thunderface is catching up though, but he took a hit already from that. So he's looking to be a little bit careful there. And while we have a minute, Laseki's PB is a 10, I believe it's a 106.51, and Thunderface has a 127.57. So we do have quite a bit of a gap between our two racers in regards to PBs, but I mean, people can PB during tournaments all the time. We've seen it many, many times before. We'll just have to see how quickly Thunderface and Laseki get back into the groove of this run. So Laseki's coming into the Boomer Kuwanger fight, and we're hoping to see him attempt to grab X over and over here on the right side of the screen, and Laseki's able to get charge shots over and over that way. Oh, he's not opting for that. At least not yet. He may be sticking to the wall. Okay, he's going to stick to the wall as much as possible and just avoid getting grabbed. Getting grabbed does deal a lot of damage. And Thunderface has to be careful as well. He's down to, I think, 4 HP. Once you get Kuwanger down to under half health, he'll start teleporting. So the fight becomes a little slower in regards to dealing damage, but it's not as dangerous as long as you just stay still and just keep an eye on where he's going to end up. And with that, both of our players are through Kuwanger. No problems. Okay, Laseki is making his way through the cave in Chameleon. Not opting to go for the body armor, which I would imagine he wouldn't have gone for that. Thunderface does the same. Yeah, there's really no reason to get any kind of armor whatsoever, especially for X1, considering you've already done 2 Mavericks and you're on the 3rd, and you're really not in much danger of getting damaged until maybe Launch Octopus stage and maybe Mandrill. But other than that, really don't need armor. But this stage is very basic and straightforward. Even the fight is very trivial. You can get Chameleon into a loop with the boomerangs. Ooh, Thunderface was being chased by the Met guy. I think my co-commentator had temporarily stepped out a minute. So as you see, Chameleon's very, very trivial. See, no, not in real danger of getting hit. So yeah, right after fighting Kuwanger, they go to Chameleon, following the weakness order for a little bit. So we're going to go to Eagle next, since he is weak to Chameleon Sting. You may see a sub-tank grab, just for a little bit of safety. It is kind of on the way, at the expense of a little bit of time.
Sorry, I'm back. Just had to fix an audio issue.
Oh, no problem. So yes, Laseki is definitely taking the pit stop to get the sub-tank. Definitely nice to have that later in case you need it. You only have 16 HP, so that will buy him a couple extra hits. And Thunderface is going for it also. So sadly, yes, when you start, you know, the next game in this relay, so to speak, you have to start from scratch with in regards to tanks and everything. Obviously, they don't carry over. It'd be kind of nice if they did, but. So with having the weakness weapon with Eagle, if he decides to dive, it won't be as many dives to kill. Whereas if you had to do this buster only... Ooh, okay. Eagle stopped blowing Laseki away pretty quickly and opted for the tornado. And then he went up, but then he went down again. So that's really good for Laseki. The nature of the Chameleon Sting weapon, where it can extend upward and downward after you fire it, as long as Eagle doesn't start diving, it really doesn't matter what he does. And it looks like Thunderface is getting a good Eagle too. Right off the bat in this first tournament race, they're doing really good with RNG.
Well, hey, it's RNG. We all want good RNG no matter what games we play.
Okay, following weakness order again, we're going to Mammoth. Another basic stage. See, Laseki's going to Chameleon Sting, which will one-shot these miners. And he's using the natural platforms to gradually make it up to the top level of that open area. Where if you stay to the bottom row of ledges, then you have to climb straight up. So you kind of have to do a 90-degree angle with movement. But if you just use the natural ledges, it's kind of a more straighter line. It does save a little bit of time. See, Thunderface he's taking the easier way, going through the bottom, and then he has to climb up. So Mammoth is very, very simple. Once you get the first Dash Lemon, just fire a Storm Tornado up close, and it actually stays on top of Mammoth long enough to get 2 hits with it. So you're getting 6 damage per tornado. And also, when our players destroy the Mavericks, they want to be in the middle of the screen as much as possible, so that X doesn't have to walk to the middle before he has to teleport out. Only in this game does that matter. In X2 and X3, X teleports out in place. Okay, Thunderface makes it through Mammoth. He's not that far behind. He's maybe 20 seconds behind at the moment.
And the second using these Storm Tornadoes to great effect in the States. I know a lot of cats will swear by them.
Yeah, Storm Tornado is a pretty good weapon. It's constantly dealing damage, which is really good. A lot of the higher level runners will use Shotgun Ice, and they'll spawn those gun vaults as the ice is about to go off screen, and then the ice is inside of the enemy, and then when it breaks on contact, the shrapnel will hit them as well. So it's like getting 6 ice shots for 1.
6 for 1. That's pretty good odds.
Yeah, you'll definitely see that in the tournament from our higher level players.
Personally, I've found, enjoyment with actually learning the speedrun for, the X games, which this is a good, beginner's category for it.
Yeah, you're running 3 X games, so if you're learning any of the games, there's always tutorials out there to learn. Even just the 8 Mavs part, and then you can easily do a 24 Mavs run, and then you've already learned basically half the game for an individual game if you want to learn a single game category.
Which has been, which is a very good thing, for the actual Make It Man, community. As I know, I've found a lot of, fun and easy, things that I never knew about the game series.
All right, Laseki gets a pretty easy kill with Mandrill by hitting him with his weakness, the shotgun ice. It'll freeze him, and then just before he breaks out, his actual iframes expire, which allows you to get another hit. And then you just basically keep him stun-locked if you can. He may have a couple of attacks, like that punch there. You have to watch out for that. Mandrill does deal a lot of damage on contact, so it's very imperative that you try not to enter this fight on life support.
Yeah, because that will add some time to dodge all the attacks.
Okay, Armadillo is a pretty trivial stage. You're basically standing on that minecart for a little while, taking a little bit of a breather.
Don't forget that it's also the home of the Hadouken, if you're going for that as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, you won't be seeing Hadouken or Shoryuken or the Saber in all 3. Talking about the overpowered weapons in all 3 of the games. It's basically raw movement and weapon usage. No Easter eggs and no Saber. Okay, Laseki picking up this heart, which is not a bad call. Like, he still has Octopus, and that'll buy him an extra hit, potentially, from a missile. Okay, Laseki missing a couple of jumps there. If X is in the air during specific points during that final hallway with that minecart, the birds will not spawn. They only spawn if you're standing on the cart at particular points. But it's not too big of a deal. But if Armadillo rolls forever, that is a big deal, but he did not do so for Laseki, at least while armored. Once the electric spark hits Armadillo, his armor will be stripped, and then it really doesn't matter if he rolls anymore, because you could damage him with his weakness.
It looks like Thunder's entering his Armadillo fight as well. Also, a side note, he also did pick up the heart tank as well.
Okay. Yeah. It's definitely a big hurdle, like if you're actually doing PB attempts to get through X1, just because it's pretty volatile with the difficulty of some of the stages, especially like at the latter end, like right now with Octopus and Mandrill in the back half of the 8 Mav section. Oh, Thunderface gets a pretty good fight also. Even in X2, when you don't have armor at all, it is a little scary on a couple of fights, but when you hit bosses with their weakness, it usually forces them to do a specific action, so you know what's coming, so it's really easy to get around it. Laseki there, dashing through the suction of the submarine there to get some hits with the Sea Sting. The submarines are weak to actually quite a few weapons. Sea Sting, or the Rolling Shield, to name a few. Okay, Laseki there does pay attention to what the drops were from that submarine and saw a health and he took it. So going in for this Udoburos kill, you do have to wait for it to show up in the ground, and then a well-placed Storm Tornado will take it out.
And now we're on the Octopus.
Yep. So coming up, we're going to see a game swap for both our players. So when you see Laseki get the final hit on Octopus and he's dead, he's going to switch to X2 and get his control set, and he has to wait 30 seconds before he starts, to be fair. And
do you know if he's running console or emulator?
Laseki runs console, and I think Thunderface is running. I think he runs console too. I can't be too sure. I'm not familiar with everyone's console usage or controls for that matter.
Just figured I'd ask, since you can usually tell, I guess between, who gets a faster card swap versus emulator on that one.
Okay, by the looks of it, Laseki is using default controls. And, yep, he's good. Yeah, that's the reason why we give our players a 30-second interval between games, just so they can set up their control schemes. Because they have to load the game, get to the title screen, go to the option mode, set their controls, and then when they exit, they have to sit through the opening prologue for like a couple of seconds before they can get back to the title screen again.
Don't forget also switching cards.
So now we're into X2, and yep, see Thunderface is having to adjust his controls. And you'll see that again for X3 too, if someone has to do controls. They have to do that every time. But if you play default controls and you're actually doing a PB attempt, that's like a free 15 seconds on the game swap. Alright, Laseki's already through the intro. Thunderface is just starting the intro, so we're at about a minute gap right now.
And a minute in this category really isn't much, so you'll see Thunderface catch up, most likely.
Yeah. But we're only one game through this 3-game series, so, I mean, this race is far from over. I mean, anything can happen between now and the end of X3.
Very true. Do you want to explain the Maverick order for X2?
Sure. Laseki, first off, picking up a heart tank there at the beginning of Sponge, and that's all he's getting. He's not going for the sub-tank. But, like I mentioned at the start of the X1 intro, X2, the optimal plan of attack is to do the Shoryuken-less route, but you will be getting the Buster upgrade in Gator, because using the charged weapons for Speed Burner and Strike Chain do save time, and as well as the charged weapons against some of the bosses and the CFO strats that are used in those fights. So even though you are taking a pit stop to get that Buster upgrade, you're saving a lot more time, even in 8 Mavs, as if you just bypass it.
And Laseki on to Wire Sponge, though I guess it looks more like a sea cucumber than a sponge.
Yeah. So the main objective here for Sponge is to keep hitting him with Dash Lemons, which will deal 2 damage, until Sponge does the attack that you just saw, but Sponge's HP was not low enough. Now it's low enough. As you see, you want Sponge to do exactly what you see on Laseki's screen, so that you can actually damage him and kill him before he comes back to the ground, because once Sponge is at 9 HP or less, and if he touches the ground, he will do his desperation attack called Rain Dance, and he will shoot thunderbolts down upon the screen. And the only safe place guaranteed to not get hit by thunderbolt is standing right next to Sponge. If you're hiding in a corner, you can still get sniped. It just comes it just depends on how the bolts fall.
Basically, we want to, basically avoid phase 2 of almost every Maverick fight.
But yeah, the X2 part of this run is basically 80% without grabbing the heart tanks or the sub tanks.
Nice chain strike jump up to the weapons capsule.
Yeah. And he gets a fast capsule as well. So the capsule only opens when the screen is not shaking. So he didn't have to stand very long before the capsule opened. Thunderface looks like he may have a sponge pattern that's favorable. If he can get up there in time, oh, he's going to wait. Oh, he missed it. He didn't get the dash before the shot. That's unfortunate. That's going to be a 9-second penalty. He should have took out the thorns that were standing in front of him, and he wouldn't have had to worry about that. He was trying to place a shot over the thorns, but he had plenty of time to take them out. But that's something I'm sure he'll know that for next time.
Not only that, but he also was down to 3 health.
Yeah, of course. You don't want to. Well, yeah. If he got hit by a thunderbolt, he would have died. I'm pretty sure. I think thunderbolts deal at least 3.
Yeah, I'd rather take 9 seconds, lost than the amount of time it would take to start the fight over again. And now
so Laseki's
Wheel Gator.
Yeah, Laseki's already at Wheel Gator. Man, these stages are just flying right now. So Laseki's entering this fight with a full charge chain, and he's going to let that go right to start to guarantee getting Gator damage for 5 HP like that. Oh, but he misses the continuation of the strike chain he gets. There's a 5-frame window between his iframes expire and before he submerges under the water there. And he's going with Buster. That's an interesting ploy. Not a bad idea. Buster is just as effective in this fight as Strike Chain as long as you know what you're doing. Okay, now that he's remained up above water, see he's using Dash Lemons there while Wheel Gator's firing those spin wheels. And now, once Gator is at his desperation HP, he's going to go for a drill into the wall like he was trying to do, but Laseki already had him down to the point where he was dead. Thunderface picking up this heart-taking Gator, having to use the deboost strat from the bullet. Oh no, Thunderface inadvertently chained the spiked wall, and it pulled him right off of the lift.
And now we'll see the start of the X Hunters, which we don't want to see at all.
Yeah, that's the thing about the strike chain, is that it will pull you if it grabs a wall. That was just unfortunate. I think he forgot to charge. Once you're charging, you don't have to worry about that. Oh, but Thunderface is having a little trouble getting up that wall, but he made it. Yeah, next 2, once you defeat 2 Mavericks, these X-Hunters are going to teleport down onto the map here. And depending on what stage you just left and what stages are remaining to be cleared, the X-Hunters will always appear, it's not random. They appear in specific spots. And the objective...
They weren't random.
Huh? What's that?
I said I didn't know they weren't random, and sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, they teleport depending on what stages are left and what stage you just left when you get your password. The password also remembers what your last stage was, specifically what stages the X-Hunters were leaving. And then, depending on what stages are left, they go to specific stages. Laseki doing a really good job of getting that bike all the way through into the second base, to where you can basically crash it into the door. There is a trick that if you dismount the bike, right as you touch the door, the bike actually goes through the door and it's not destroyed until it runs into the rocket. It's a pretty neat trick. I've seen it once.
Think we might see that during the tournament at some point?
You may see a couple of attempts at it. Okay, Laseki doing Ostrich Third, which is one way of getting... Yeah, well, this is a good call. Like, this is a correct stage select from Laseki, because the way you get these X-Hunters off of the map so that you don't see them every time you clear a stage is that you have to enter a Maverick stage that has an X-Hunter waiting for you. And if you clear the stage without clearing the X-Hunter just teleports away, and the 0 part that they hold is gone with it. But we don't care about getting the 0 parts. We just care about clearing the Mavericks. So as you see, when Laseki gets back to the world map here, Violin's going to teleport away, and then there's only going to be 2 hunters left. So you see, Laseki is going to Crab next, which is where Agile waits, but we're not going to fight him. So when Laseki clears the Crab stage, Agile's going to go away, and then Sergei's is just left.
Sorry to interrupt you, Justin, but it looks like Thunderface is going to Flame on that one. So
yeah, that's also
the version.
Yeah, we have Stag third strats, and we also have Bird third strats from both players, which is really nice to see in this opening tournament match. Also, an X-Hunter does wait 4X in Flame Stag, so this is also another correct stage selection in regards to getting the X-Hunters off screen, off the world map there.
Just goes to show you that there are a lot of different strats to, not only this category, but for all of the Mega Man X categories.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a Buster Duel on Thunderface's side, but we're gonna have a Crab fight on Laseki's side. For Laseki, the basic objective: keep the spin wheel on Crab as much as possible. If need be, taking a damage boost on Crab while he's on the ground does delay his jump, which may allow you to get an extra hit in the wheel. And what Thunderface is doing, he's using Dash Lemons to damage Stag as he's climbing, as you see, and he's also waiting on the ground for Stag to come down, because it's much easier to damage Stag than trying to keep up with his climbing speed. Stag's a really fast climber. And as you see there, he throws the fireballs, and that resets his RNG, or not RNG, but his invincibility frames to get much faster hits.
And Laseki into his next Maverick, while Thunderface takes down Flame Stag.
Yeah, Laseki's using Ostrich Third route that's used in 80%, or the old 80% route that was a couple of years, I think 3 or 4 years ago now. It's been a long time.
I guess
but we might.
Yeah,
we may see the combination of bubbles and the double charge buster on Laseki's side. That'd be really nice. But I have a feeling we're just going to see just straight bubbles. And Thunderface is using... Yeah, he's going to Centipede next. I don't believe there is an X-Hunter waiting in this stage for Thunderface.
I'm not sure. Although
I don't believe so. Oh, but he gets crushed under the block. Ouch. That's going to set him back quite a bit. Not only that, he lost a lot of burner when he died too. So he has to take that into account as well.
Luckily, he'll probably find some, energy at one point. There you go.
Yeah. Those little pink blocks do drop some items. It's not guaranteed whether it's weapon energy, but that will help a little bit. Yeah, Thunderface is not used to these block patterns yet, and Laseki's already took down Stag with the bubbles.
Now we're on to the floating. Would you call that a lightsaber or a wireframe sword?
The boss name is Chop Register. That's basically a digital sword. And Thunderface took it out pretty easily with the strike chain. Had to fire a second chain, but it's a pretty good kill for him. Ooh, he triggered some alarms there on the way down. That's going to be a little troublesome. Ooh, and he's causing some lag here as well. If you trigger these alarms, those little blocks will fall down faster. Luckily, he didn't get caught by the radar. Otherwise, that would have powered up this boss here. Okay, Laseki going into Moth. Okay, he passes by the armor capsule, which really doesn't do anything in this game. X2 armor is just not very good.
I guess it just
And
makes
we'll
you look cool.
Yeah, we'll talk about why that is shortly. Thunderface is coming into the Centipede fight. We're looking for him to do the tailspin attack, and maybe we'll see a tailspin glitch. But if he's just going to throw shurikens, and every time you damage him and he takes that knockback, he's going to teleport. And he'll teleport up to 4 times before he stops. So he's forcing the teleports. And what Centipede's doing, he's trying to get X into his tail to drain his mini abilities that he has. For every HP unit that Centipede is missing, it's going to take that many wiggles or inputs plus an extra one to break out of his tail. So the lower his HP is, the harder it is to break out of the tail. And if you're in the tail for too long, you'll lose your powers, just like that. So Laseki just, or not Laseki, but Thunderface just lost his charge. He's able to still shoot multiple lemons,
But,
he just lost that too. So now he's only allowed to shoot 1 lemon on screen at a time. But he's able to get through.
Just to get it down.
All right, now for the Moth fight. The reason why the armor is not really good is that even if you have it on, you take a lot of damage from Moth. It doesn't really do anything. Laseki waiting for the right moment to take out the first phase. Looks like I may be behind. Let me refresh here.
Yeah, you are.
I'll wait for this fight to be over. Okay. All right. Let me refresh. Sorry about that.
It's cool. It happens, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Thunderface opting for Crystal Snail next. Though I find it hysterical. He's got rockets in there, and yet he's supposed to be slow as anything.
Okay. Thunderface is going to go for the mini-boss skip. Okay, he got it. That looked a little scary.
Care to explain how the mini-boss skip works?
Yeah, basically what you do is that you cause enough lag, or you actually go faster than the screen can keep up with you, and it just doesn't load the mini boss. So the speed burner actually carries X pretty fast, and that's one way to get around this trigger. There's also a way to do it with the mech. If anyone saw SGDQ a couple weeks ago, you saw Darrenville's run of that, Buster only. Since you can't use any weapons to do the skip, you can actually use the mech. The mech goes pretty fast when you use its lunge speed. Pretty crazy.
Basically, you're going full throttle.
Yeah. Thunderface ejecting Snail with the magnet, so now he's able to damage Snail pretty easily. And he's kicking the shell to keep Snail from basically trying to get back in it. He will jump in the air to where the shell is, but if you keep moving the shell, it keeps him jumping. If you do let Snail get grounded, he can actually go for a mad dash attack to the shell directly. So, you know, for an animal like Snail that's supposed to be slow by nature, he's pretty daggone fast in Mega Man X.
Basically, you're playing a giant game of keep away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Laseki is on his 7th Maverick, I think, and he's doing the Centipede fight now. So as you see, if he throws the shurikens, if you damage him at all, he's going to take that knockback, and that forces the teleports. And as you see, Laseki is just holding against the magnetism at dash speed to counter that, so he won't have to worry about getting hit. Okay, Laseki gets the tailspin, but he's not doing the glitch. He's just going to damage him as much as possible. Alright, Thunderface's turn through Ostrich. We'll see if he can carry the bike all the way through the stage. If you crash the bike, just like that, it's not a big deal. You're just going to lose a few seconds compared to if you had the bike all the way through. because you got this speed burner to actually kind of make up for it a little bit.
You'll probably lose a little bit of swag points, but, you know, speed versus swag.
Yeah. Okay. Thunderface, since he's using the Sack Third strats, he's got the Crystal Hunter, which is what you get from Crystal Snail. So we may be able to see him do the optimal 80% fight here, which he's going to freeze him, just like you saw in Spark Natural, and then hit him again while he's frozen. See, like that? Now, every time you hit him with the Crystal Hunter, it forces him to jump every time he breaks out of it. So you can actually infinite loop him, just like you see Thunderface doing right now. Very trivial fight.
Yep, and Ostrich down for Thunderface, while Laseki...
Oh! Laseki initiates the Charge Burner too late. Yeah, if you pass a certain point, it actually loads the boss already. So you gotta be moving really fast before you get even close to the load trigger. That's unfortunate, but luckily, taking out that boss with the wheel doesn't take that long. Uh-oh. That was almost a critical error from Laseki. Luckily, he caught himself. You don't want to get crushed by those crystals.
Not only that, but, you know, Thunderface is on his Bubble Crab, while Laseki's on his rocket-powered snail.
Yeah. So Thunderface is going to take out the Sea Campler with the blades. Oh, he misplaced it, but that's okay. You want to kill that sub as soon as possible because that sub can actually kind of take its time in that first opening section. If it decides to take the upper route and go real slow, and if you don't kill it really quickly, you have to wait for that big long red gate to open before you can proceed down to the bottom part of the stage. But as soon as you kill it, though, it opens after the explosion ends.
Sorry to interrupt, but Laseki is now on X3.
Yeah, this is Laseki's bread and butter. This is Laseki's strongest game of the three. So, we will likely see Laseki hopefully make a tear through this section. Thunderface has another Maverick after this before he actually gets to X3.
And I can tell Laseki is a little flustered, you know, with the last part of X2.
Oh, okay. Thunderface missed. I think the wheel got away, but that's fine. Yeah, if you can only have one of these spin wheels on screen at any given time, so if you misplace it or if Crab kind of jumps over it, and you have to wait for that wheel to disappear, and that kind of hurts a little bit.
Also, let's say hi to Zero on Laseki's side.
And by Zero, you only see him, I think, one more time before this is all over with.
Yeah, but it's Zero. He's still one of the greatest characters in the series.
Yeah. But he's a Zero in this game. We don't use him. At least not in this category, we won't.
Now, what I'd love to ask is, where do you think Zero got the Z-Saber from?
Good question. I think he made it. I think he made his own weapon. Honestly. Yeah, Crab's a very dangerous fight when you have not a very large HP bar and no armor to boot. So that's another good note that Colonel Fatso pointed out in chat. You gotta be very careful with the Crab fight, regardless of what route you're doing.
Let's also note the excellent music of Zero's theme.
Oh, nice. Laseki actually was able to jump with Zero while he had the saber completely thrown out there. Okay, Thunderface deployed the bubbles. I don't know if that was intentional, but okay. Bubble strats, let's go. So, as you see, when you charge up the bubble splash, as long as you have energy, it constantly deploys bubbles. So you don't have to worry about holding down the Y button or charging or anything. It just automatically goes as long as you have energy. Once the last meter of bubbles is extinguished, then you'll see the bubbles dissipate shortly thereafter. And the bubbles actually stay in place from when they respawn. They don't actually continue to follow X at all. And let's see it. The very last bubble, I think, killed him.
And Laseki's done the intro stage for X3.
Yep. Okay, Thunderface got clipped with a bug there. If you let those bugs grab a hold of you, they can actually force you to auto-fire some of your commands. So getting damaged gets those bugs off of you, if that ever happens.
You want to explain the stage order for X3?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few different stage orders you can do, but every one of them, except in 100%, will always do Buffalo first because you get you have the option to get the dash boots if you want them. We'll likely see Laseki get them. But also get one of the best weapons in X3, which is the Frost Shield. The Frost Shield has a unique property in which if you destroy a ground or ceiling enemy with the ice, you get a guaranteed health drop. Whether it's large or small is random, though. Oh, Thunderface is... Yeah, Thunderface has to be careful. Uh-oh! Oh, no! Oh, the pixie dust got Thunderface. That's unfortunate. Now he has to do the fight again, and I think he has very low burner too, if not any.
Out. If I recall correctly, I thought I saw it with 0 on there. So this is what, Buster only now?
Yeah, he's gonna have to use Buster strats, which is not easy. This moth cocoon will constantly throw debris out, and then once he disembarks from his string, he's going to start throwing out more debris, and this causes a lot of lag, as you can see. Alright, we're going to see Laseki go, hopefully, for the Buffalo loop. Whenever Buffalo looks at X, and X is in the air, he's going to automatically go to the wall like that. That's all I'll say for the moment. Let's get back to Thunderface's moth fight here. He had to... Now, there's 2 ways to get to the adult form of this fight. One, you get Moth the cocoon down to 12 HP, and then he will, go rise up and open up the ceiling, and then you'll see the adult form. Or if you get enough junk deployed, and as the cocoon gets to the middle of the screen like this, he's going to start, attracting all of that junk. And the cocoon actually slowly gets larger. If you just stand there and watch it, it'll slowly get bigger and bigger. And once it gets big enough, it'll automatically detach.
And Laseki's got the Buffalo down, so he's on to his second Maverick of X3.
Wow, I totally disagree with that plan, Thunderface. Yeah, you don't want to get to the wall like that. Let Moth come to you, as you see it. Moth contact damage is 8 HP. That's why the armor is so bad in X2. And that's why you want to have a couple extra hearts. And if you can get sub-tank energy and have a full sub-tank, this is exactly what that sub-tank is perfect for. It's for this fight, if you're not very confident. And that moth is fast. He's not slow.
While Thunderface is working.
So, yeah, the cocoon is a little bit. Yep. The cocoon's a little bit bigger. Okay. Let's try again. He's got full HP this time. I believe in him now. He's got to play it smart. Don't do nothing crazy. Now, see, when Moth decides to deploy the beam, Thunderface needs to get behind him and stay on the ground. Don't try to jump up in the Moth. That's just going to get you killed. Like that. See, that's a no-no.
Ouch.
Oh, and that's a game over. Wow.
Ew.
That's a no-no. But unfortunately, I mean, that's really bad about Moth. It's that right there. That's a big no-no if you can like not do that, but that's unfortunate.
It happens. It happens. We always gotta deal with the strats we do.
Yeah, but yeah, when Moth gets to the middle like that and he prepares to do that little beam, as long as you're behind Moth, like he can't hurt you because the beam just goes straight down, you know, to the ground. Laseki doing the simple loop for Seahorse with the ice here.
Really? There's a complex loop?
Yeah, there's a 2-cycle and there was actually something called a 2-cycle or even a 3-cycle. The iframes in the X3 Mavericks on a couple of them, like Seahorse and Crawfish in particular, are pretty not well constructed. In fact, the iframes are non-existent at points, so you can actually spam their weakness into them, and especially if you're Seahorse, and deal like 3 damage when he's during his quote-unquote flashing period when he's supposed to be vulnerable. Yeah. X3 was released about, I think, 10 months after X2 was, so the devs didn't have a lot of time to really fix all the bugs. They basically rushed this game to be released, so there's some flaws in it, as you will see on Seahorse and the Crawfish fight later.
I do know that they did re-release it, I think, on PC later. You know, was it a year later, or I forget which, but I know they did re-release it on PC with some of the stuff fixed.
Yeah, X3 was released on PC, and it was ported to the PS2 on the X Collection. But the X Collection version is not the Super Nintendo version, it's actually the PlayStation version. Alright. Thunderface has got okay. He wants to kill Moth the proper way, which is, you know, I'm all for that. Okay, I would wait for him to come down. There we go, finally. Thunderface takes down Moth. And that's it for X2 for Thunderface. Now he's just gotta get his game swapped over to X3 and he'll be on his way.
I can tell he's a little annoyed on that one. And, well, Thunderface takes down him. Looks like he just took down Bit.
Yeah, I was about ready to mention that. You do have to fight Bit and Bite in X3 before you can actually kill all 8 Mavericks. Yes, for the purposes of the definition of Maverick, Bit and Bite do not count as one of the 24 Mavericks that you have to defeat to clear this category. You do have to fight all 8 of the end stage bosses. So yeah, Bit and Bite are a minor annoyance. You do what stages they appear in between the set of 3 stages is random. You won't know until you fight them. So you have to prepare for their appearance in any given stage, at least until you defeat them.
No, sorry, Vile fans, no Vile. Though he does have his own stage, though.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing. Since you're not getting the saber at the end of the game, you're not even going to get to the end of the game, so there's no reason to fight Vile whatsoever. So the Crawfish stage is going to be very short compared to what you're used to seeing in all the other categories, except for low percent, of course, which is basically the route that you want to take. After you defeat Buffalo and Seahorse, there's actually a couple ways you can go. You can go to Rhino next, which is actually the natural weakness order. You can actually go to Tiger next if you want, but you actually want to save Tiger in this kind of category because since you're not using the Ray Splasher weakness on Vile in this, you can actually take advantage of Tiger's weakness, which is the spinning blade. So we actually swap around the Maverick order a little bit in X3. You do Catfish a little bit earlier. You can actually do Catfish 4th. So you have access to the drills a lot sooner, which help out in a few places. And you also do Tiger later after Crawfish, so you can actually take advantage of the weakness, as forementioned. And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
And while Laseki just got done. It is Maverick. Thunderface is just about to rescue X.
Okay, Laseki is actually going to Tiger now, so he's following the typical 80% route.
So he'll basically be facing Wolverine in a few minutes.
Okay, Laseki's using the air dash boots for a little skip there, skipping the dragonfly there. X has a slender hitbox when he's in the vertical dash animation compared to the horizontal, and that allows him to squeeze between that wall and that dragonfly. Oh, Laseki said he autopiloted the Tiger. Okay, well, there's no shame in that. I mean, if you're used to playing Hundo and 80% all the time, it's hard to break the stage selection muscle memory at times.
It happens. Our runners are doing the best they can.
Okay, the plagiarism song that Michael Volt is referring to is the Tiger stage music. If you listen to Guns N' Roses and listen to Ma Michelle, you can hear some similarities in there. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Don't worry, it's not the only Capcom that it's not the only game in this era that did that as well.
Who listens to Guns N' Roses? I do. Come on,
Same.
if you lived in the 80s or the 90s, you should know all about.
Anyone?
Yeah, Guns N' Roses. Yeah. Welcome to the jungle. In fact, this stage is in a jungle for Tiger. Actually, it is a jungle. So, the irony.
Well, not just that, but that Tiger does remind me of the version of Wolverine that Capcom used in Mutant Apocalypse.
Okay, now what Laseki aims to do for the Tiger fight, as you see, he went to the wall there for a minute. But every time Tiger does an action, he resets his off-frame. But he wants to shoot a charge shot at Tiger while he's doing this Race Splasher attack. And then if Tiger's on the ground, he wants to spam lemons. And Tiger was actually pretty good for Laseki. If Tiger's on the wall, he's not going to be doing his desperation attack. In which in this game, every Maverick will do the desperation move at certain HP values. Like Tiger will start doing his at about 10 HP. Rhino does his at about 12. Buffalo can start doing his at 16 health. Catfish will do his at 15 or less. But variable HP values. And since Tiger stayed on the wall, he didn't have to worry about losing time to invulnerability.
Let's say hi to the iBuffalo on Thunderface's side.
Yeah, you see Thunderface is jumping at a specific time to ensure that when he's in the air, Buffalo is going to say, he's in the air or he's behind me, so I need to go the opposite way. But the opposite way is right into a wall. There's a faster way of doing the Buffalo strat here, using CFO strats with the normal buster and then charge shots. It does save a couple of seconds, but it does require a lot more execution to pull off. You'll see that from runners like Louise, Nero, Colonel Fatso, I think, will do it. I think FF Slinks is also in the tournament. Very familiar runners with all the mechanics.
I know us newbies are going to have hard road ahead of us.
So Laseki's coming up to the Volt Catfish fight. The drills are his weakness, but you see he's not going into the fight with him right away. It's actually faster to hit Catfish with as many buster charge shots as possible. Once Catfish reaches 15 HP or less, he's going to jump to the center of the room and do his desperation attack, which at that point, you're forced to use drills on him because that's the only attack that will get him out of his desperation phase. And then he'll just repeatedly jump to the middle. Okay, Laseki's going to go for more buster shots, and he got a couple there, but once the catfish is under 15 HP, and he does either a Triad Thunder or the Ground Spark, he's going to jump to the middle of the screen right after that, regardless. So you just want to get as many Buster Shots in as possible, and then once you can't do that anymore, you just go to the drills and just, just wait it out.
And catfish down on Laseki's side, while Thunderface is on his way to, gotta forget what this, creature is.
Yeah, he's in Seahorse, and he's getting ready to fight Hatarka, which is the name of the mini-boss here.
Wow, I couldn't even told you what the mini-boss's name is. Chat, you got any other obscure Mega Man X questions you might want to ask?
Thunderface not using ice. I'm surprised that he's not using ice. But yeah, ice is that boss's weakness. So yeah, since we're not fighting Val in this run, you're gonna see Laseki just go over the hidden little passage that normally you fall into to go to the Val secret stage, and it's not too long after that you'll be running into Crawfish. Ah, okay. That might explain why he didn't use ice. Thunderface wants some sub-tank energy. Oh, but he doesn't have any. He doesn't have a sub-tank. Ooh, he didn't get the Buffalo one. But that's right. You don't get a sub-tank till Rhino, usually. Rhino is usually the easiest sub-tank to get. Buffalo is a close second, but you do either have to backtrack for it after getting the dash boots, or you have to do the bootless jump to get to it beforehand.
I'm assuming bootless jump is pretty hard.
So as you see, Thunderface is going to hit Seahorse with the ice, and then he's going to wait, and then he's going to mash out the ice while he's on the ground and stunned. The reason why you can do that is because when Seahorse gets hit from the ice the first time, his 60 frames of off-frame period runs out while he's stunned, but Seahorse can't jump out of the stun immediately, so there's a little gap in between his iframes end and before he jumps, and right in that gap is where you can just shoot a lot of ice into him. Yeah, looks like Laseki almost died to Crawfish there. He was trying to do the other quick kill strat where you shoot Crawfish with the Triad Thunder, and there's a 2-second period, a much larger period, I might add, where you can actually spam weapons into him, but you can't spam Triad Thunder, so you have to swap to Buster and just mash as much as you can, and you just repeat that. But when Crawfish reaches his Desperation HP phase, he'll do that attack where he just turns around, backs into you, and just kicks you into the wall. It's pretty sick. And it's very devastating because he can kind of grab you right after you get hit like that too and deal even more damage. It can kill you if you're not careful.
Let's pause and say hi to Blight on Laseki's side.
Yeah. What you notice, he started off with a Buster Shot, and then he goes to his weakness. And then you're going to see Laseki not hit Bite with his weakness for the last hit. Because if you do that, you actually cause the explosion sequence to happen, and that loses about 15 seconds. You just want to scare these Mavericks off. You don't want to destroy them. So now that Laseki has fought Bite, he won't be showing up in Hornet. And here's another reason why Laseki got those dash boots. Doing this section without the up dash is pretty, we don't want to say difficult, but it does require some precise jumps to get up there quickly. So just using the up dash just makes that section pretty trivial. You'll see one more section in Hornet where having the dash boots can come in handy. So Laseki's coming up to pretty much the easiest fight in X3. Thunderface is coming up on the Hell Crusher mini-boss in Rhino. He's just going to keep, forcing the Hell Crusher to, basically run into the wall and just safely dealing damage with the Buster. Near soft lock. Don't think I've heard about that.
What was that?
Apparently, Laseki says there's a near soft lock in Crawfish, but I haven't heard about this yet.
I know there's a soft lock in X1 that I found, last week?
Oh, okay. Thunderface has to be careful. Those wall cancers deal a lot of damage. And if you're charging, those balls of dirt deal a lot of damage too. Oh man. Laseki is going into Hornet. Okay, Thunderface is just gonna have to be brave. He's gonna try to bait. He's trying to figure out how to kill this tank. There we go. Okay. He's up high enough on the ladder. There you go. Okay. That you can actually shoot a charge shot into that tank while the tank can't really see you yet. Okay.
And this
Thunderface really wanted to hit that checkpoint in the boss corridor before he died. Okay. Okay, the Shuriken fight here. Acid is the weakness. It takes 6 shots to take it out. Its iframes are a little bit longer than the standard 60 frame period that you're normally used to seeing. So you have to kind of space those out a little bit. And every time that Shuriken gets damaged, it's just going to jump. Pretty easy pattern.
And I've got to applaud Thunderface for taking out this Maverick with 1 hit. Oh.
Yeah, props to that. I mean, that was a high pressure situation for sure.
At least in the X game, you don't have an actual beeping noise constantly whenever you're at 1 health.
Yeah. Laseki is approaching the final Maverick and the end of his race. Time is on the final hit of Hornet. So when Hornet's HP is completely depleted, that is time.
Well, it's basically any Maverick you finish off with last hit, but...
Yeah, exactly. Every route will end with Hornet, I believe. Depending on... Regardless of who and what route, it's usually Hornet last. So you can see Hornet's doing these figure 8s when he's in desperation, and then he'll deploy little Hornets to come after you. And with that, Laseki finishes with a race spot time of 1:08.22. That's only like a minute and a half off of this PB, which is, and with a 30-second gap, that's not really terrible. I mean, with those 2 30-second delays that are mandatory, I mean, that's basically like a 1:0, 1:07 if it were converted that way.
So, I know you're all giving him his GGs in chat. Do you want to see if we can get him in here for an interview?
We'll probably do that at the end of the race, I think. Just depends on what the TOs want to do. So Thunderface, I'm not sure what Maverick number this is, but it's at least 3 because Bid has showed up here. So you start off with, you want to start off with Buster, but he's just going right in with Ice. One thing to note is that the projectiles from Bite or for Bit deal actually more damage than touching Bit himself. So you actually want to touch Bit on the body, if you need to take a deboost, it only deals 1 HP of damage. Okay, Thunderface successfully takes out Bit there. Laseki just going for a victory lap here. Oh, he's gonna go for. Is he gonna go for the bootless jump? I think he is. He was going to. He's gonna show off some stuff here. Or... Yeah, he's gonna show off the 0 clip. Okay. Thunderface going into the Tiger fight here. So you're gonna see Thunderface spam lemons while Tiger's on the ground, and then as Tiger is firing his Race Splasher, you're gonna see him up. Let's see, that's one thing you don't want to do. If you fire a charge shot at Tiger, he will block it. See, like he blocks it. You only want to fire the charge shot during the Race Splasher sequence. Yeah, you see, he's just gonna stay there and just spam the lemons. When Race Splasher goes off, that third shot will come right at X, so you just have to stand there, wait, and jump over the third shot, and then just rinse and repeat. Now see, Tiger, once he reaches his Desperation HP, which I think is 12, he's gonna go invincible like that. So you see, all these charges are just adding the time. Unfortunately, that's... If you don't have his weakness, you have to deal with this, because if you shoot him with the spinning blade, it actually forces Tiger to jump to the wall, so you don't have to worry about that phase if you have the spinning blade. See, Thunderface has 4 Mavericks to go. It looks like Thunderface is using the same route Laseki did. Ooh. Yeah. It's a big thing about X3 is that a lot of the enemies on contact deal a lot of damage. Like, you saw him take damage from that red head gunner there. That cost 6 HP of damage. So if you're at 16 HP and you get hit 3 times like that, you're dead.
And here I thought a hug from Ganon was dangerous.
Ooh. Oh, man. Okay, Thunderface tried to go for the up dash there to try to grab that. There's a little bit of a wall that you can actually grab, but he was a little too low. He almost died, but he didn't go for it. Yeah, X has a pretty big vertical hitbox when he climbs, and if any part of that touches the spiked section of that wall, you're dead. Thunderface is trying to use the property of that Frost Shield to get some HP. There was a health refill just there. I'm surprised he didn't go straight for that. But he's coming up on the Catfish fight himself. He's taking his time. There's a lot of enemies in Catfish that you have to worry about. I mean, the corridors that you have to navigate through aren't that big, and the enemies that are just in your way just make it that much more taxing. Laseki could probably beat X3 completely before Thunderface finishes. I think that's what he's going for.
You think he'll show off the Golden Bomber?
You have to have everything to get the Golden Armor. But he already entered. If you enter a pink capsule beforehand from the 8 map stages, you can't get the Golden Armor. Okay, Thunderface is gonna see if he can get a good catfish pattern here. Okay, he's already got him into the he's already got him into the desperation phase. in Catfish's desperation phase, if you let him do it, when he gets his jolt, he's got these two big electrical fields on each side of him. Those deal a lot of damage, especially the one attached to his tail, or that's behind him. That one in particular deals a lot of damage. I think it deals 4. Catfish himself doesn't deal a lot of damage in the first phase. I think it's only 2 HP, but when you let these Mavericks get powered up, then the damage output really starts to crank up. Okay, Thunder's already fought Bit, so he won't have to worry. Oh wait, he's on the second set of Mavericks now. Okay, no bite here. So he can freely go to Triad Thunder. He's trying to get there. I think he overswapped. Or he's just going with Buster.
At present, he's just having a fun time.
Gets behind the chicken and just takes him out from behind. Excellent. Don't misconstrue that, people.
Don't worry. I've heard a lot worse. I think so is chat.
Okay. Hopefully, Thunderface will try to do the Crawfish Quick Kill. That gives us a chance to kind of go over a little bit. Okay, he's got the Triad Thunder out, so hopefully he can do it. So you shoot Crush Crawfish with this Triad Thunder, okay? Once he's hit, he's got a 2-second period where you can actually damage him while he's flashing. So once the Triad electrodes go off screen, you can actually swap to Buster. Okay, you can also do that. You can also refire the Triad, and that can deal some more hits. Okay, but yeah, Thunderface has to like not be on the ground so much because Crawfish can actually run after you like that. And after he grabs you, he's gonna do that little thing with his claw. And then once you break out, you actually lose your iframes and you can actually bonk on him again. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why that is, but it just is. And if you're on low HP, like you saw there, you can inadvertently kill yourself if you're not careful.
The short answer is the game being the game and Capcom not programming it well.
Yeah, like I said, X3 was rushed pretty quickly after X2, so definitely there's some bugs that weren't fixed or weren't even bothered with. Laseki showing off the Vile fight when you have to fight him in Doppler 2.
It seems to almost always be in armor.
Yeah, imagine doing this fight in low percent. Where you don't have a sub-tank, you don't have a heart tank. Yeah, imagine that.
I think he is basically doing low percent strats because I think all he's got is the 1 chip upgrade and the dash.
Okay, Thunderface has the dash boots for this section. He's using Drill, which is also a nice weapon to use too. It doesn't kill the enemies there, but it does delay their actions by about 20 frames per hit. And in addition to that, it also disables their hitbox. So you can actually, with a well-placed drill, you can actually just dash right through them and not take it to any damage.
I bet you we all wish we knew that as a kid to make this game easier.
Yeah, a lot of these weapons, in addition to just their attack abilities, they have some cool utility along with them as well. And the drill is pretty useful.
So what would you say are the top weapons for the first 3 X games?
As a whole, you like take all 24 special weapons and rate them from best to worst.
That, or just basically the most useful out of the entire game.
Well, for X3, obviously, Spinning Blade and Frost Shield are definitely the top 2, maybe. I don't know, Triad Thunder, and there's arguments to place Triad Thunder if they're as well, but definitely Frost Shield is number 1 in just about everybody's list. For X2, Speed Burner is definitely number 1, especially if you have the Charge Buster. There's just no competition when it comes to speed. X1, Shotgun Ice is pretty useful. Rolling Shield, Storm Tornado. Definitely Storm Tornado with a lot of its with it hitting multiple times. It doesn't deal a lot of damage per hit, but it just deals a lot of hits.
Don't forget the Sting Chameleon.
But definitely, yeah, Sting Chameleon's pretty good if you have it charged. But other than that, it's only used in a couple places. Thunderface, on his last Maverick, so or on his last stage, I mean. He's still got a little ways to go before he's done, though. Okay, now, the residue from that acid doesn't deal as much damage as the actual shot does initially. You want the whole acid shot to hit that shuriken, not the smaller residual shots.
Thunderface is on his last Maverick, and Laseki has actually started the boss fights.
Yeah. Yes, X3 stages are really long, especially when you have to fight Bit and Bite. Those extra rooms that are put in every stage, just so you can fight Bit and Bite, that's why these stages are so long to finish.
Everybody's going to Bite.
Yeah, Laseki is just showing off here. He's actually already finished the race, so he's just playing, waiting for Thunderface to finish.
Basically,
so
go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
The idea with this bite fight, if you place the drill right in his hitbox immediately, you actually get 4 hits per drill, so you can actually get 8 damage per drill. But you just don't want to kill Bite with that last hit with the drill, so you want to swap off the Buster and just scare him off. Does Thunderface even have a sub-tank? I don't even know. I don't have audio, so I can't tell.
I don't think he does.
Okay. He got heart tanks, so I guess that's the substitute for a sub-tank. Ooh, man. He took a couple of hits from those headgunners, and he lost a lot of health.
I have faith in him. He's on his last match.
Oh, okay. He's just gonna trivialize this fight and just use Gravity Well. Gravity Well is Hornet's true weakness. Although it deals 4 damage over quite a bit of time, it's just pure safety. As you see, it stuns Hornet, and it also gets rid of all of these Gravity Wells. Or, I'm sorry, all of these Hornets with the Gravity Well. Uh-oh. Okay, it broke free. Okay.
Oh, wait, he did get a sub-tank.
Yeah, he did, okay. Yeah, if those Hornets get deployed, you have to avoid them. I mean, they don't instantly disappear.
Not just that, but the lag.
Yeah. Yeah, if the Hornets have to travel across the room, that's why they lag. If Hornet were in the corner and he shoots the baby Hornets into the wall, like that same side of the wall, there's no lag whatsoever.
And by the way, that is time for Thunderface.
Yep, Thunder finishes with 124.26.
If you don't mind doing the honors of asking our runners in for an interview.
Sure. I'll see if they're up for that.
And remember, if you're enjoying this race, please remember to give Laseki and Thunderface a follow.
I don't know if they're aware that we're in a different Discord. Typically, the last couple tournaments that I've commentated for, we use the actual tournament Discord. We weren't in a separate Speed Gaming commentary Discord. I don't know if they have access to those or not.
They can send them a invite. Hold on a minute, and I'll ask.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. GG, Laseki.
I guess we did this. Oh, my mic.
Well, congratulations on the race win. Looked pretty. Looked like you had a pretty easy time. With a couple of places in between.
Now I can hear you. Okay, is my mic working, or is it goofing again?
I can hear you. You sound pretty fine to me.
Alright. Make sure I didn't pull anything out.
Alrighty. How do you think your run went? Pretty smooth, or?
X1 and X3 were okay. X2 was X2. I'm never, ever going to have good X2.
Yeah.
And, you know, crawfish almost happened.
Yeah. You're gonna have to inform me about this soft lock that apparently I didn't know about.
It's not like really a soft lock. I guess it's like almost a soft lock. It can last a couple of seconds, or it can just let you float there for a minute. But if it's the one where you hit crawfish with triad and like get grabbed by him on the same frame, and you'll just like float in the air in front of him while he just kind of looks at you weirdly.
he just stares at X and thinks about bad things.
So he's just so probably about 5 or 6 seconds. I was just floating in front of his face while he was firing off the little grab things that go up the walls.
And looks like we're having a debate on which X is the best.
Also,
I think any X game you can play good at is the best.
That's why I say X1 is the best.
But apparently everybody's for X3. Laseki would agree with that, I'm sure.
Yes. I mean, objectively speaking, X1's the best. Like, overall.
Uh-oh. Someone mentioned the unmentionable X game. That might call for a purge.
The greatest meme game in history?
Nah, I'd say 7 and 8 are probably the worst in that.
I mean, 8's alright. It's a Mega Man X game. 7.
Yeah.
7's the one we don't tend to talk about much.
Alright, Thunderface is entered also. Congrats on finishing Thunder.
Thank you. I felt actually pretty good about that run, other than Moth, so...
I was say, did you have fun?
Sorry.
What was that?
So, I was just going to ask you, did you have fun?
Oh, totally. I always have fun racing. The half the fun of racing is to see what happens. Because you never know, anything can happen in a race.
Yeah.
I've had conga line screw-ups constantly in the end races before, where I've just died 10,000 times to stupid things. You never know.
Yeah, and Moth backup Buster Strats was something I was not practiced in, so Yeah, that didn't go very well.
Yeah, I don't ever want to do that.
I noticed that. I think you may have panicked when Moth was swooping down there, and you actually jumped into him. I think a couple of times.
I definitely did. I was my strats were not very good. I need to practice that, or practice the fight in general, so that doesn't happen. But
I definitely mentioned it. Like, if he's swooping down, just let him come down. Just make sure you dash under him, because part of Moth's hitbox, actually, if you're just standing on the ground and if he's swooping, for some reason he can get you, and it doesn't make any sense. But definitely dash under him. And when he goes in for that beam, when he gets ready to fire that beam, as long as you're behind him, he can't turn around and hit you. You just have to stand there and just wait.
Yeah, actually, I had the commentary on, and I heard you say that in commentary, and I think it was right after I had game over, before the stream caught up with the delay. So I was just like, well then, that would have been nice, but it's something that I have never done before. It's hard to fight him Buster only. Like, props to anyone who runs this Buster only.
Yeah, I've definitely done it Buster only, and it's difficult at first. Once you get used to it, it's not so bad. Yeah, but what really hurts the most in the Moth fight is just the damage that you take if you touch him. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Yeah, that's where they got the idea for X3.
Yeah.
Just everything kills you in 2 hits.
Moth deals 8 HP of damage on contact. Oh, let's make every enemy at X3 that way. Yeah, sure.
They saw that and immediately Tunnel Rhino stage popped into their heads, and just everybody wanted to die simultaneously.
Tunnel Rhino. Yeah.
Please no.
Yeah, of course. Not here. Some other time. Let me check the match schedule, and let's see what we've got. I know there's a match tomorrow for sure. Early in the morning. I think it's 11 a.m. in the morning. Let me just double check here and see what we got. Yes, tomorrow on the 12th at 11 a.m. it's Maverick versus Area. I'm not sure what channel that is on yet. Just be on the lookout for that. I will be commentating that match as well in the morning. And then Saturday we have 2 more matches. We got Laseki versus N2, and we also have Brass Wolf versus Colonel Fatso. And those 2 matches on Saturday take place at 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. respectively.
Well, the schedule says Brass Wolf versus Colonel Fatso, Colonel Fatso, so I guess Fatso has cloned himself and is going for full dominance.
Or he's playing himself again, or playing against his alter ego, Colonel Safe Strats,
dear.
Whichever the case may be.
Oh dear.
Kurt, I've never heard that one before. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Those are the only matches that are on the schedule at the moment. We are in the early, obviously this is the first match played. There are many more matches to come. I believe everybody is round robining everyone in their group, and then we should be into the bracket phase in I think a month or so. I think that's right.
Yeah, it's like we have all month for the groups, I think, so...
If it's anything like the previous tournaments, it's supposed to be in a month, but it's going to be more like 3.
It's not the worst thing I've ever heard about a tournament. Basically, I heard this, during the Binding of Isaac Racing tournament from one of the commentators. Apparently, their final basically kept getting postponed off to where the tournament organizer basically had to sit both of them down and say, like, what day are you free? And basically force the final match.
Yeah. Yeah, when we get to the bracket phase, I'm not sure what the format's going to be. It could be 2 out of 3, or it could just be single elimination.
I believe it's 2 out of 3.
Oh man, yeah, the bracket phase will be drawn out if it's 2 out of 3. a little bit. Maybe not that bad. I mean, if we had the X3 tournament not too long ago, and those matches were about an hour per race, I think.
You'll probably just have them, not back to back, but just basically on different days.
But I believe that's all I have for this race. Any closing remarks?
I'd say apart from following our runners, Laseki and Thunderface.
I have
and
my only closing remark is I hate X2. Please make it disappear.
Alrighty. Well, I don't have anything else to say, so I'm gonna sign on out. And thanks for watching, everybody. And if you enjoyed the runners, give them a follow. And hopefully we'll see some of you back here in the morning.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing the commentary and restreaming and everything, and congrats, Laseki. See you, everybody.
Also, remember to follow all the Speed Gaming channels. Speed Gaming, 1 to 6, and pick your preference on the language as well. But hopefully you all enjoy this and all the other tournaments that are coming up. I guess I'm Magus1, and for Ustin and everybody else in the tournament, hope you have a good evening.
Have a good one, guys. See you next time.
X2 is bad.